Welcome to my little corner in the internet. I'm Nadine. I'm traveling with my dog Marjorie, and I welcome you wholeheartedly to Everyday Alchemy, where I walk the 12-week path of Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. Journey with me through the mess and magic of life itself. This is week 4, recovering a sense of integrity.
Okay, future self, here we are. A recap of week 4. Week 4, recovering a sense of integrity. Julia Cameron suggests to prepare the week ahead with doing the chapter on a Sunday. So if you're going from a Sunday to Sunday cycle, you prepare it the day before the week actually starts. So then you already have in your mind and the process is already rolling when the week starts. So I did the preparation on a Tuesday and did most of the exercises inside the chapter then as well. And I believe the exercises she suggested to do, like write down 5 hobbies that sound fun, 5 classes that sound fun, 5 things you'd never do that sound fun, and 5 skills that would be fun to have, 5 things you used to enjoy doing, and 5 silly things that you'd like to do and try once. So I feel like what this week was about was finding out how translucent your beliefs are that form your sense of self, if that makes sense. Like if you have some belief patterns or thought patterns that hold you back, and they should then emerge when you give yourself to these exercises of painting yourself in the most colorful pieces of the rainbow, and sort of discover that there is so much more to you than you might have expected. So for me personally, that week was kind of subtle, and I don't think there were like huge shifts or changes because I have had the luxury of forming my integrity within the last 4 or 5 years of traveling. It's sort of like a constant transformation, if that makes sense. So I feel like I had a pretty good start on this week because I know quite well how the only constant in life is change, and even the things that I write down right now as being my dreams or the things I want to do, I know there's an inner compass leading me somewhere, and I know that that also could turn around 180 degrees and point in another direction. So I think my sense of integrity this week, more of reflecting back on, do you know your core? Do you feel your essence? The other exercises I did was the time travel exercise where you write a letter to your 8-year-old self, respectively. Also, the 8-year-old self writes a letter to you now, and the 80-year-old self. So I did the 80-year-old self. I feel like I have done a lot of inner child healing. So I feel like I'm pretty in love and have a pretty good relationship with my inner child. I didn't feel as drawn to go back to my 80-year-old self, but I felt very drawn to my 80-year-old self, which is funny because the last time I did this week, I know that I did the 8-year-old self exercise and I was drawn to that one. So I found it really inspiring to sort of meditatively put myself in the shoes of me at 80, where I want to be, how I want to be, how I think I will be, and then seeing myself through her eyes, which was really almost like I'm a little bit emotional right now because it was really a lovely exercise, seeing yourself from another person's perspective, but then this person is you approaching a time in her life where she's truly at peace. So that was really moving, and I love that exercise. I also created my own artist's prayer, which is sort of a thing you can always come back to if you feel a little bit uncertain or unsure about your path ahead. I feel like it's more prayer to your inner artist to always be able to connect to that source flow that comes through and that enables you to create.
Dear beloved all, source of good, I summon your attention with intention, that I may be of greater service to you and to all. I offer myself as an instrument. I open myself to your creativity in my life. I surrender to the light. I welcome your new and expansive ideas. I trust that I will be led. I know you created me and the creativity within me. Creativity is my nature, your own, and thus my own. I ask you to unfold my life according to your plan, emphasizing my self worth and belief, strengthening my core and essence, guiding the truth that all is right, never too late, nor I too small or flawed to be healed by you, through all made fuller and more whole. Help us to love brightly without conditions, warmly without labels or limits, fiercely, so the embers will continue always to burn in all shades of colors and light infinitely. Support me to nurture myself and others. Encourage me to grow and facilitate growth for others. Enable me to understand fears harbored. Help me to know that I am never alone, that I am loved and lovable and loving. Make the flow of creativity be truth. To create as an act of eternal love, wisdom, and gratitude. To me, to you, to all. Thank you.
And lastly, I wrote a little bit of the secret payoff, like because there's always either in procrastination or in not following your dreams, there's always a secret payoff. There's a reason why you don't do it, and it has nothing to do with the external circumstances. It always has something to do within yourself, meaning that we are very good at finding excuses for not daring, for not being courageous, for not living up to a full potential. It could be self-sacrifice, it could be victimhood, it could be anxiety, fears, like that sort of stuff. And then you make up excuses. And I was sort of reflecting on excuses I come up with, especially this week, because this week was reading deprivation with the underlying mission of finding out if you misuse reading as a form of putting off important stuff, as a form of procrastination, really. And I knew that my kind of reading does that. Like if I'm not on my phone, if I'm not scrolling social... Hey! Excuse me a second. Du, was machst du? Musst du aufpassen. Musst du aufpassen. Ja, super. Ja, super. Ja, ist das die Post oder was? Ist das die Post? Oh nein. Ich glaube, die bringen das ganze runter. Ja? Dankeschön. 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 Messi! Sehr gut, Messi. Ja, super. Laszlo, alles gut? Hast du aufgepasst? Ja, super, hast du aufgepasst? Ja, toll. Okay, so this week we had to do reading deprivation, meaning no reading. And I wouldn't say I adhere to that rule quite at all, really. I tried to, but there were certain things that I made exceptions for. So my my secret payoff in not doing it was the following. First, I made an excuse because I'm right here in Switzerland and there's this lovely town that I lived in for a couple of years, for a lot of years actually, and there is a public library there. And my friends gave me their card to explore that library because I'm here for 6 weeks and I am able to just get any book I want from their English literature section. So I did make a very conscious, mindful, and very much presence inducing decision to have this afternoon where I would sip my decaf coffee in the library and explore books and read and get some books home with me too. So one of the books I read during this week, and I know how that sounds, but I also have to mold these exercises so they fit into my life. And because I feel like the mindfulness was there and I know what her intention is with the reading deprivation, I wrote down every single time I broke the reading deprivation. And I also wrote down why I think that was necessary. Also, I didn't sort of adhere to that rule in the sense that this week I just came across a poet on social media and I was just blown away by his kind of poetry. And because that sparked so much inspiration and also induced my own writing with very poetic and prosaic sort of elegance, I feel like I could make an excuse because the inner artist in me was really unleashed. And I really found so much joy writing in my own poetry language because of reading some of his work. So in a sense, I know I'm making excuses, but I feel quite alright with these excuses because I know that this exercise is designed to just bring awareness to how during everyday life we might abuse reading as a form of escapism, right? So long story short, I broke the reading deprivation about 4 times, so 4 days out of 7, with the payoff that I really felt drawn to writing and drawn to write in my own words and find so much solace and so much joy and so much self-expression and self-confidence in that self-expression that I do excuse that for myself. All in all, I feel like this week was good and I do know that I've made another step. We are in week 5 now. Week 5 is the recovering a sense of possibility. So I feel like I'm quite intrigued by the next week, and I will leave you with a poem or an extract from something Joseph Fasano wrote. The instructions for having a soul. Take it out in the rain sometimes. It has vast, invisible wings that gather dirt and need rinsing. When it tries to kill you, that is because you've forgotten to let it look into someone's eyes for longer than a minute. It needs that, the way a bee needs nectar in the early morning dew. Every so often, take it on a journey. Let it read long, hard books and let it stare into the depths of the sea. Yes, you can give it chips and whiskey, but from time to time, let it kneel in a place that is holy, like the simple cathedral of the willows. All it wants is to live, to keep becoming. Nourish it, and it puts down roots. It opens. Starve it, and the mind, the flesh, is empty. The world breaks down, symphonies goes unwritten, the rockets fall, the children die in flames. Listen, it is not too late to wake it. Say the names of the wild, the forgotten things. Bluebird, red wolf, robin, violet, child, clover. You cannot save the world, but you can open the window for the trapped wren in the cellar. Make your life the first life you save. See you next week.